it illustrates a timeline, a time frame, if you will, of when the green clauses were introduced into our document. And if you look back, you can see that the bulk of these were issued over a decade ago. Back in September 2000, you can see that many green clauses took effect. What our office does and has done over the past decade is update and refine and incorporate new language, new green language into those documents. The next slide shows that in our documents, we incorporate several dozen green clauses within them. Just recently, the SFO document, the solicitation for offer that many of you might be familiar with, it has recently been replaced with new lease models. We basically transformed a one-size-fits-all lease document into multiple models that are unique for different lease situations. Each have different requirements and levels of complexity. You can see here the 4 key ones that we deal with and that we've broken that SFO into. It's a standard, a streamlined, a succeeding, and a simplified lease. And within each of those, there's a different mix of green lease clauses that are required and associated with each. Pretty soon, we'll be posting these within the library. It identifies the clauses in a great detail. The next slide shows one of these models. If you go back one, go back, yeah. This, for example, is our standard lease model. And what it does is it breaks it down into the different components within the lease. The construction components, the shell components, the tenant improvements, the utilities, and all of the specific green clauses that are associated with each of those different components. So each model, those 4 key models I mentioned, each have a different mix of shell, TI, and utility clauses that are associated with each. You move on to this next slide. I wanted to show here how our office has made changes to our lease document, and this pyramid shows what we've done recently and what we'll be doing in the near future and the midterm. The top part of the pyramid shows what has happened within the last 6 months. We've shifted some optional green clauses to become mandatory. We've reduced our plug load requirement. We've incorporated the water sense spec within our lease clauses. And in the future, we'll be evaluating other things. The interior design finishes, our lighting specs. We're taking a careful look at what the new ASHRAE 189, the ASHRAE 90 2010 is going to mean to our leases, as well as the new LEED 2012 requirements.